Hi, and welcome to Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse Skinner, and today I'm going to check out Browserify. I've heard about Browserify probably about a year ago. I've just never used it. For my own JavaScript, for 10 years I was just using global variables. For the past couple of years, I've been using require.js. And over the past couple of years, I've also been doing a little bit of Node.js programming on the server. So now I just want to try Browserify for the first time and see if maybe I can perhaps stop using require.js in my projects. So I'm just going to try it out. I've never used it before, but I went to their webpage today, browserify.org, and I'm just going to kind of walk through the examples they give and see how easy it is to get set up. So I'm just going to start off. I'm going to make a GitHub project for this just so my code is in one place. I'll just call Browserify testing, trying out Browserify. Give it a README, I don't know, MIT license. So, I'm going to do SSH here. Okay, so I'm just going to clone this, get set up, go into my project, and first thing I'm going to do is initialize npm because I use that to install. Let's shrink that a bit. Alright, so I'm just going to set this up quick. And, alright, whatever. Skip all this. Okay. So I'm going to run, let's see, they say in the webpage that I should do npm install -g, that means globally, Browserify, so I'll just copy and paste that over, and it should install for a couple. Oh, something's wrong. Oh, I need to do this as root. So I'm on Mac, I need to do sudo, and then I'll paste in what they said. They don't say that, they probably should say that because the -g globally means it's gotta copy that over to the system, and anyway. Type in my password, and this should work. Alright, it's going to install for a minute, and I can just think about what I want to actually test it with. So I want to write some code that has a couple files. I want to require in some kind of package. I've been using require.js, so let's say I have jQuery, then I've been using Bower to install jQuery, and then I use require.js to link that in, and then I use grunt as well to build it all. So what I'm kind of trying to figure out is if I can simplify my workflow a bit, maybe move to using, Browserify instead of require.js. I'm kind of curious if I can start using just npm instead of using grunt, and definitely try to start using npm instead of using Bower, because I find all these different tools, they're all great, they do each thing well, but if since I'm using npm for all the projects, if I can just get as much use out of npm as possible, that's great. If I can sort of simplify my code, that's great. So let me just shrink this a bit. So first thing I'm going to do, like I said, I often use jQuery, so I'm going to try installing jQuery with npm. I've never tried this before, but I assume it'll work, and I'm going to do -save so it saves to my project, and let's see what happens. Probably, there we go, install jQuery, so that's cool. So I'm going to fire up Sublime here and start writing some code. So how about I make an index.js file. That's just going to be my sort of starting point for my project. And alright, so I have this here. In my node modules I have jQuery. So what I kind of want to do is load in jQuery. I'm going to assign it to the $sign. So let's see if I can do load in $jQuery. Now this is kind of interesting because it's interesting for me anyway, because normally when I do this kind of Node.js style of writing, I'm writing code for Node.js, and jQuery is purely for the browser. So it's kind of the first time I've written code that actually loaded jQuery using the kind of server-side JavaScript style. But so I'm just going to do something simple. Let's give the body a background of blue. Just something to test out, make sure that's working once we get everything fired up. So fair enough. Next thing I'm going to do is make an HTML file to load this in. So let's use Emmet with an exclamation mark. Oh, I gotta save this as HTML first. So I have my HTML file. I'm going to use an exclamation mark. Open up a HTML5 document. I'll just call it Browserify testing. And I guess I'm just going to load in, I know it's not going to work, but I'm just going to load in my index.js file just to kind of demonstrate that it doesn't work. So, if I open this in the browser now, from my web server, localhost, what do I call it, Browserify testing. Here's my jQuery code. If I open up my debugger, I can show on the console that requires not defined. I know it's not going to be defined, but I just wanted to sort of show that in its current form it's not working. Okay, so I think we're ready to try out Browserify. What does it say to do next? So they have some examples. They show how to use a unique or unique, or however you'd say that, to do something. We're not going to follow their demo. I kind of want to do my own thing with jQuery. But what they do show is that it's a command line. You run Browserify with your main.js. That's my index.js. And then I guess it's -o probably means output to bundle.js. So I'm going to give that a shot. Let's see. So I should be able to run Browserify index.js, and I'm going to output it to, let's call it, follow their syntax, bundle.js. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it seemed pretty easy. So I'm going to look in Sublime. What does that bundle.js look like? All right, there's a ton of stuff. So what's going on here? I'm going to put on word wrap. All right, so they've put some, kind of want to call it junk, but I'm sure it's really functional. They've some kind of module code at the start. And it's kind of a function. I can see this function here. It's starting off with passing and require module exports. So that's kind of setting me up so I can do so I have the require function. I can do, set an export, set module. Here's my code that I actually wrote in the middle. And then they've stuck on a bunch of other stuff on the bottom. Oh, I see what's happening. I see this 2:, and I notice this 1:, up here. So I think what they're trying to do is, I'm not going to try to understand all of it, but they're creating an object with the different modules in, and then their code is kind of figuring out which module goes with what. And I see here jQuery 2, so I guess they're saying that jQuery, when I require jQuery here, that is going to load the second module in this object. And then I see jQuery here, so I guess all the rest of this code is going to be jQuery. And you can see here on the side, there's quite a lot of code. It's obviously the jQuery source all the way down, and that's it. So I've kind of figured out what Browserify does here. It seems to package up all my JavaScript, all the modules I require, and then it sort of puts into a format where the server-side require syntax, I'm not really sure what that's called, but the JavaScript syntax I would use on the server works. So now what I'm going to try to do is link in this bundle. Instead of index, I'm going to link in bundle. And let's refresh the browser and see if I have a blue background. Yes, I do. So that's simple enough. That's pretty cool. What else do they say? I guess that's kind of about it. Parses the AST, abstract syntax tree. I see this in the bottom there, so I'm not really sure what that is, but I guess what they're saying is all the tree of linked files. Here, yeah, they call it the entire dependency graph of my project. So if I have a single file, it requires other files, they require other files, and so on. It's going to bundle all that into a single bundle file. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty easy to get set up. Pretty interesting. I'm going to start trying it out in some other projects. Well, that wraps it up. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for new videos.